Hi, garden friends. Welcome back to the Garden Girls podcast. I'm Meg.
And I'm Dagny.
And our friendship started in a group chat where we were talking about all things gardening. So we're inviting you guys in on the group chat. And today we are spilling the tea, literally. We're talking about tea gardens.
I didn't know you were going to do that. I love that. That's the best.
We both love our tea gardens. I know that Dagny, especially, she has a very, very beautiful tea garden. If you guys have not seen it, you have to go and look on her YouTube channel and watch her numerous tea garden related videos, right?
I just keep posting them because they seem to do really well. People really like this stuff.
Yeah. Mine's more like spread out. Like I have everything that would count as a tea garden, but it's not like all in the same space or all in the same bed. But every time I watch yours, I get jealous. I'm like, should I do that? I feel like I should dedicate a bed because it's just so pretty.
It's so pretty. It's so easy for it to be pretty too. Like there's just such a wide variety of like colors and textures. And I mean, I never intended for it to end up being just a dedicated space. But when I got those beds that had like the ledge on the top, and I just had this thought like, I could put a mug on here. Suddenly, it had to be a tea garden.
It's gorgeous. We were saying before we started this video, we have to specify like what tea is versus an herbal infusion, but we still call herbal infusions tea.
Yeah.
Because like an actual tea is from the actual tea plant, which is Camilla Senescens.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's like your actual tea plant, but like anything can really be a tea if you make it a tea. You could probably put dirt in water and it's like dirt tea.
Absolutely.
You know? So,
yeah. Maybe if you're like 5 years old, why not?
Yeah.
I totally did that stuff as a kid too. I would just like take random yard clippings and like soak them in water and make like witch's brew. And that was probably how this all started, honestly.
it's so fun.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't
I'm just
actually
being a
drink
kid
it,
and
but I know I used to do the weirdest stuff outside when I was a kid. Like everything could be turned
Same.
into a recipe. I know.
Same. And so it's so much fun to kind of like emulate that as an adult now as well. And it just, I don't know, it brings out this, it heals part of my inner child every time I'm whipping up some kind of tea. I feel like it's some kind of potion, like magical potion.
It does feel like you're playing again in a way that I feel like you don't really get in other parts of the garden or types of gardens because of how you're interacting with the plants. It's just totally different.
Right. But at the same time, you are also making something that is healing and good for your body at the same time. So it's not all play. It's like actually useful. There's lots of teas and herbs that are very, very useful medicinally. And for other things, I like tea just because it's calming. I love a warm liquid in my body, whether it's tea or coffee or anything. Like a lot of it, I feel like is very just psychological for me. I just love having something warm go down my throat and calm me.
Or even like cooling teas. Like I do a lot of cooling teas in the summer. Iced tea is so good. Sun tea. But yeah, I feel like I'm sure you can relate to this too. Just having chronic illnesses, like it's another thing that we can do that sort of makes us feel like we have some sense of control over some part of our health. Like we can take care of ourselves in this way. And I know you experience this with caffeine as well. It's very activating and like makes my heart race. So being able to have teas instead of coffee sometimes still gives me that like warm beverage, but without the side effects.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat. I love coffee, but sometimes it just makes me feel like I'm running when I'm sitting still.
Same.
It makes me panic. Yeah. I love a good caffeine-free tea.
Yeah, and so we have lots of options there for herbal teas, but I know both of us are growing the Camilla Sinensis. So how big is yours? Because mine is like tiny right now. And I can't even like really use it yet.
I have 2 plants and they're in ground and they're actually getting pretty huge. And I had every intention of like figuring out what to do with it this year, but I just didn't. Like I really, so one of my goals for next year is to really focus on the tea plant, and it's big enough to harvest from. Both of them are.
Nice.
So next year, I'm going to be harvesting tea. I'm going to be making tea.
Exciting.
I'm so excited. I know that a lot of it is like pruning. Like pruning does play a big part because you have to use the fresh leaves, like the fresh, leaves that bud up in the spring. From what I've read, I'm not an expert in this by any means. I just have the plants, but
I was saying
I
earlier,
don't know how to grow them
I have a whole
or
video
anything.
on this on my YouTube that I did last year, and I honestly have already forgotten a lot of the details, but I know. So there's white, green, and black tea. They all come from the same plant. I remember the white tea you actually use the flower buds and the really baby leaves. And then I
Okay.
think it gets like the darker the tea is, the older the leaves are, kind of thing, is the first step of that. So the green tea would be like a slightly more mature leaf. And then the black tea, you would use the most mature leaves, but I still don't think you're using the old leaves necessarily. So, yes, pruning would
Yeah.
definitely be important in that case. But there's other elements to it too, just in terms of like how it's prepared. Like you can make a green tea using the fresh tea leaves, but it's not going to be anything like a green tea that was actually oxidized and dried out and rolled the way that it's normally processed to make that. And I mean, that's literally been going on for thousands of years. There's so much to that to learn that I just don't know that much about.
Right. Same. There's so much research that I need to do. Step one was like establish the plants and like take care of them, get them to be ready to use, and now they are. Now I need to do a deep dive into like, okay, what do I even do with
Right.
this? How do I make it?
Yeah, I'm jealous you can put yours in the ground because they don't really tend to overwinter super well here. I kind of wish I had experimented with just like deep mulching it and putting it in the ground because it's doing okay in the container, but it's definitely limiting its spread. I think I'm going to, at the very least, up pot it in the next month or so to hopefully give it a better chance of getting bigger.
Yeah, they can be pretty large
Yeah.
plants. Like mine's getting pretty big. It's like 5 feet tall
Wow, that's
at this
amazing.
point. Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah, so maybe give it a bigger container.
Yeah, I think it's
I
in
didn't
like a,
realize that they could even get that big. I imagined them when I first bought it to be like more of a shrub, but it's definitely more of like a large, very large bush.
well, that's great. You can make lots of tea then.
Yeah, hopefully next year. What's your favorite tea? I think mine is definitely green tea, but I also love white tea. I'm not a huge red tea fan.
That's funny. I was gonna say I feel like Rubios is like probably my top choice. I don't know what it is about it. I
Really?
find it really comforting. I really like spiced tea. Like I love a chai tea. I think
Yes.
that's so it's just the ultimate comfy drink.
I do love chai, so I guess I do like red tea, but I don't like it like by
Yeah.
itself. If you
Yeah.
put the cinnamon and the spices and everything in
Right.
it, then sure.
I mean,
But
I'll take an Earl Grey any day. Like that. Oh, it's so good.
yeah,
The best.
yeah,
Has that nice
I love just
florally.
yeah. And it's really nice for like breakfast, especially. It's really light. And
Yeah.
I also love oolong, but sometimes oolong, if I drink that, it almost is like coffee to
Really.
me. It is very stimulating to me, yeah, because it's oolong is like a type of green tea, but it is like kind of green tea like on steroids. And that is like definitely what it feels like. I like it, but yeah, sometimes I have to like be careful with it, just like with coffee.
That can happen,
Yeah.
yeah. I've found so if the caffeine thing is a problem, have you done a lot of like red raspberry leaf tea? Because I feel like that is the best black tea alternative, in my opinion. Like it has that same sort of full bodiedness to it.
I actually have never tried raspberry leaf tea. I
Girl,
have raspberry plants that I could use them for, and I know that there are a lot of like health benefits to raspberry leaf tea, especially like women's health,
yes, yeah,
right?
yeah. That's
Yes.
why I got into it was for my endometriosis. It was one of the only things, and I feel like a lot of the times when we use herbalism for our health, it can be kind of hard to be like, yes, this definitely helped, because it has more of a subtle effect than like a modern medication. But red raspberry leaf tea 100%. If I started drinking it in the week before, my cramps were like 1,000 times better. It made such a huge difference. So I highly recommend that. And I guess you can use it in later in pregnancy too. I have to do more research into that, but it can help with labor, delivery, and all of that. So,
That's
and it
amazing.
tastes really good.
I wish that I could try it. Like I have Mirena IUD, so I don't even have
Right. You
I'm
can't
like one of
test
those
it.
really lucky people that I don't have a period anymore. I can't test it, but I know that it has like other benefits as
Oh, yeah.
well
Yeah.
of just being a really great tea. So
Like it's super high
maybe
in
I'll try that
vitamin C.
today.
You
I
should.
literally have my raspberry plant is going crazy right now. I should just snip off a few
Right.
leaves and just go put it in water, which is why tea is so amazing, because that's literally all you have to do is just go out into your garden, snip off some, edible flowers, herbs, and just put it in a tea. You can mix and match. You can like come up with these different like concoctions. You can try different things. So like what are some other herbs that you think people like a beginner, if say somebody is saying like I want to start a tea garden, what do you
Yeah.
think is that they should start with?
So I'm going to go a little bit off book here because I consider most herbs to be part of a tea garden as well. So like something a little bit more savory, like oregano, can be really easy to grow and makes an excellent tea that's very good for you as well. And oregano tends to be perennial, so you can plant it once and just never worry about it again, which is another thing I love when I'm thinking about what to put in the tea garden. It's things that are either going to self-seed next year or come back on their own.
You can make oregano oil as well with
Yes.
oregano, which is another kind of herbal concoction that is really, really good for you.
I mean, you can definitely do rosemary tea as well. But I think my favorite one is probably lemon verbena, which is not perennial in my zone, but it grows so big so fast that I have no trouble with like replanting it every year and getting a huge amount off of it. It's just so fragrant, again, really good for you. And it makes beautiful little flowers too. So the only thing with that one is I learned last year you really do need to aggressively prune it or it will get very leggy and woody. And so I did that this year and it immediately bushed out and it's beautiful. Like it's already probably like 3 feet tall after me having cut it back down to practically nothing after I planted it.
Mine does the exact same. And lemon verbena is one of those that makes a really good cold tea.
Yes.
I feel like it is so good and so refreshing. And then if you can also mix some lemon balm in with it, like double lemon power tea. Lemon balm is another really, really, really yummy tea, either hot or cold. It also grows kind of aggressively
Yeah,
as
it's
well,
kind of
but
mint like.
it's mint like. But that's a perennial here in zone 8A. I have a huge, huge lemon balm plant that comes back every year. And
That's
it
so
is
nice.
like my pride and joy of my garden. I love it. It basically forms like this big bush every year.
Yeah.
But I have to aggressively prune it back because you don't want it to flower, because then you'll be having lemon balm everywhere.
But like lemon balm and borage is like such, and maybe chamomile, those three together is like such a nice cooling tea.
Yes.
If you do that as like a sun infusion and then pour it over ice, so refreshing.
Chamomile is another good one. I love chamomile for a sleepy time tea,
Yeah.
like drinking it before bed
That's
with
probably,
some magnesium.
I use the chamomile tea probably the most out of any herbal tea that I have in my pantry. First of all, the flavor and the aroma. Can we talk about that? Because they're so good. It's like appley, but floral. Something about it, it's just, there's nothing else like it. And it really does knock you out. If you've just had like a stressful day, like you don't need to reach for a glass of wine. You can just have some chamomile tea. So much more calming.
Yeah.
I love it.
They're fun to harvest too, because they just pop,
Yeah.
pop, like they just pop right off. Like they're my favorite to harvest.
Wait, so remind me, because I always mix this up. When you're harvesting it, you want it before the petals are fully open or like when they're really open? There's something about like the center of it being a cone shape. I don't even remember which way is better.
I think for most flowers, when you're harvesting them for tea or drying, isn't it? It's better to get them as they're either just about to open or have just opened. You don't want like any old flowers where the petals are about to fall off. I don't know if there's something specific with chamomile though. I just always have harvested it, like just use that rule of thumb as like either it's about to open or it just opened.
Which makes sense, but I feel like the reason I'm like confusing it is because for whatever reason chamomile didn't fall into that category. But I don't know, maybe I'm just making things up. It could be. I feel like with chamomile too, you're getting so much volume at once. Like it's a very prolific flower.
Yeah.
That it probably doesn't super matter if some of them are like over versus under, right?
Yeah, it really doesn't. Another prolific one is calendula.
Hmm.
That one is super prolific. And calendula is not only good for just tea, it's good for salves, it's good for oils, like any kind of infusion that you can make with calendula. Calendula overall is just like a very, very healing herb. It's probably my number one in my garden, I think, just
I could
overall.
agree
Like
with
my
that. Yeah.
number one healing herb in the garden.
And it's a great just companion plant in general for so many things, and that kind of is like one of the main other reasons I planted the tea garden was because so many of these plants are either attracting beneficial bugs or distracting the bad ones, like with our nasturtiums and marigolds. I think that is a huge benefit, and I just love that with the calendula, every time you pick it, it like quadruples. Like it just continues to produce.
So
Yeah.
you have a ton all at once. I mean, in the spring, my dehydrator is just constantly full of calendula.
And it's
Every
so
single day I would
pretty.
go out and
Yeah.
I know it's so pretty. I know I love like when you put calendula in a jar and you're storing it. It
Yes.
is so beautiful. Also, for a specific variety of calendula, I like to go with the resina
Hmm.
variety because it has more of that resin in there, which is what holds the medicinal compounds of the calendula. So, if you're looking to grow calendula for medicinal purposes, I would definitely get the resina variety. Although any variety is going to be perfectly fine. And there's also a ton of beautiful varieties of calendula. There's the strawberry
Yeah, I
blonde
need to grow
is
that.
like
It's so
the
pretty.
most beautiful.
Hmm.
It is so pretty.
Yeah, I just have the Pacific Beauty blend, so I get the yellow and the orange. But I do want to get the Rosina for next year for sure. Do you find that like, do you like how it makes your hands sticky? I feel like
No,
it's very
I don't.
intense. Like
It is.
I save that one for last whenever I'm doing a big
Yeah.
flower harvest because I'm like, okay, I need to go inside, wash my hands immediately.
Yeah, it does give me like sensory issues
Yeah,
just because I don't like anything sticky on my
right.
hands. Sometimes I'll wear gloves when I'm picking it just to avoid it altogether because the resin can kind of like cake on your fingers
Yep.
too, and it can be hard to wash off.
Hmm.
So, yeah, if you have sensory issues, maybe wear gloves when harvesting it. But that stickiness is where all the healing
That's right.
properties
Yeah.
are. So, it's good. I have another easy one.
So there's a couple on my list that I feel like are very easy, but controversial in that like people either don't know that they're edible or like, okay, let's be real. There's a difference between edible and tastes good. Like there's certain
Right.
things I grow in my tea garden that are edible, but they don't necessarily contribute a whole lot in terms of flavor, like snapdragons. Most people don't realize that those are edible, but they tend to be really, really bitter. One that is easy to grow, maybe a little bit more controversial, is nasturtium because they're spicy. I like that. And there have been
I do too.
times where I have made like a sun infusion with nasturtium. It's a little bit more mild that way. As I was getting sick, and it significantly shortened the length of my cold. So I definitely would continue to make nasturtium tea even though it's spicy, but it's less spicy than like eating the flower.
It's peppery. It like
Yeah,
has a kick to
yeah,
it.
but it
Yeah, it's
doesn't
almost like
stay.
arugula-ish.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess somebody
It's okay.
commented on one of my videos that nasturtium can be invasive in certain places. I didn't know that. I don't know if that's true. I know it can self seed fairly easily. I haven't had that experience in my garden, maybe because I pick most of the blooms before they can go to seed, but I don't experience that as like an issue. I can't, it's so easy to
I've had
pull too if it were in your way.
I've had a few volunteers pop up from, like seasons past, but invasive, I haven't had that experience. Maybe aggressively, it might seed itself pretty aggressively
Yeah,
depending on where you live. Maybe in warmer climates, I would say.
that could be,
Maybe.
yeah, that could definitely be it. And I don't know how we haven't mentioned lavender yet because I feel like that's probably,
Oh, yeah.
well, I say it's easy, but then I get comments all the time from people saying they have not been able to grow lavender successfully. And I truly believe, I know I've said this before, lavender thrives on neglect.
Yeah, I think lavender is not easy. It hasn't been easy for me.
Really?
I've tried to establish bushes of it, and I know it's like a Mediterranean kind of herb, just like rosemary, and I can grow rosemary like nobody's business, but I
Yeah.
cannot get lavender to just take hold. Like I'll have it for a season, but then it'll just like die. And I'm like, why?
Interesting. I think
So
the
I'm gonna try.
varieties like really matter. Like I do think you have to get a variety that thrives in your specific climate. Like I grow a lot of Munstead lavender here and I never have any issues with it. But yeah, it's I think
Yeah.
it like it it's Mediterranean, but it doesn't like to get as hot as rosemary, I think. So in the hotter zones, it maybe it's a little bit harder to find types that like it.
And I need to experiment with maybe planting mine in more of a partial shade just
Mm,
because it is so hot here. I put it in full sun, and I do feel like it just cakes. And then that's what happens when it
mm-hmm.
dies. It just cakes and it burns and it
Yeah.
becomes crispy. And then, so I think I'm going to try to put it in part shade. And my rosemary is actually kind of in part shade as well. And that's why it's doing so good. So I might try to plant it like next to my rosemary
That
and
could
just
work.
see what happens. I'm desperate for lavender though, because that's one of my absolute favorites. Because not only can you use it for tea, you can use it for baking. You can put it. I love like a lavender latte
Oh
and
my God, that's
coffee,
my favorite
a
thing to do. Lemonade.
lavender cocktails. Like anytime I see lavender, anything on a menu, I'm getting it
Same.
because it's
Same.
just so good. It's such a nice. You can make oils. You can make skincare things with it. It's just so versatile.
Have you heard
Yeah.
this? Like, it's like a God, what is the word that I'm trying to think of? It's like a signal to other people if you have like a lavender tattoo that you're bi. Or like if you have like
Really?
I know, I'm like,
I've never
okay,
heard
I guess
this.
that works.
Okay.
Or
When are we
like
getting
if
the
you like
tattoo?
lavender lattes, apparently. I'm like, well, I mean, you're not wrong, so I guess that's fine with me.
I have never heard that before, but I
It's a
mean,
thing.
makes sense the more you know, right? It's funny. I've also heard that about butterfly
Really?
tattoos,
Yeah.
because yeah, I have you heard that? I don't know.
No. There's something else about like having like one fingernail painted a different color than your other fingernails. This is not the
I
same
see. I've
as
never
like the
heard that
different
either.
lengths of nails. Like it's a color thing specifically. Yeah. I don't
There's
know.
just
It's
all
really
kinds
hard
of
for us to find
symbols
each
and
other.
signals out there.
So we
Yeah.
do what we can.
You got to stand out somehow, right?
Right.
Another one that I love personally in my garden. This is another top one for me, and this is a native plant as well. And when I plant this, the way that it attracts pollinators is insane. It is always
What?
covered with bees. It is flocked with bees, both my honey bees and the native bees, and beneficial insects like the parasitic wasp. Like it's like a whole ecosystem on this plant,
Yeah.
and that is anise hyssop.
Mm.
It is so there's different types of hyssop. There's like a regular hyssop. The one I'm talking about is anise hyssop, and it's the one that kind of has this like licorice flavor
Yeah.
to it, and the leaves make amazing tea. I don't like licorice, but I love anise hyssop tea because it's kind of licoricey, but it's not super intense
Yeah.
like licorice candy. It's like very, very, very subtle and it's very sweet. And it's really great for digestive issues. I have IBS, and so if something's upset my stomach, I'll just drink some
Mm.
anise hyssop tea, and it really does help. Or I'll drink it preemptively before having a meal, and I feel like it helps truly. And like if you have IBS, you know that it can sometimes feel desperate because like we have all these medications that are supposed to help us, and sometimes they don't even work. And
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like a lot of the times like we're turning to herbal alternatives to try to find something that actually works
Right.
for us. It's so frustrating, but I feel like this is a good one for sure, for me at
I
least.
This one has been haunting me forever. Last year I tried to grow this as a start. I couldn't find it anywhere, and by the time I realized that, I it was too late for me to plant seeds. This year, a very kind follower mailed me some from her own garden, and I still didn't get them in
Oh,
the ground in time because of my being in the first trimester and just whatever. They're in the ground now. So they're growing, but they're not flowering. I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully next year it comes back. I did end up finding some at
yeah.
like a specialty nursery. I can't remember if I ended up getting it though. No, I must not have. I think it was like really expensive, but I want it. I wanted to grow in my garden, and I still have not been able to harvest this freaking plant.
Hope hopefully it'll take off for you. Anise hyssop is also one of those plants where like every year, so it is a perennial, so every year it gets bigger and bigger and
Okay,
bigger.
good.
So like the first year is usually pretty puny
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
And then I would, if you want to harvest it for tea, I would collect the leaves before it's started to flower. So
Okay.
like I always in the spring when it's starting, I will harvest the leaves and dry them out and get like a good jar of tea, but then I'll let it go to flower for
Mm-hmm.
the pollinator benefits during the summer, which is important because it's like attracting pollinators when I need them when everything else is like growing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
When you were
that's probably my
describing,
favorite one.
yeah, when you were describing how popular it is, I was reminded of mountain mint because that is for me probably the most popular herb in any garden. Like it's always
Yeah.
completely swarmed with insects, tons of beneficial wasps. And I honestly prefer the flavor of mountain mint to a lot of other types of mint. I think it's like
Yeah.
more clean, like it's a very like just pure mint flavor, and it's
Yeah.
very potent too, and it's native. So I mean, I think you've said in the past that it will still spread really aggressively for you. I have not had that problem. I've it planted in the ground, and it's fine. It's obviously
I
it's
think it
mint.
only spread for me because I let it go to flower. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it spreads as aggressively via the rhizomes like underground like the other mints do, but I let mine go to flower and I did have a lot of it pop up, but it's something that I don't mint is something that I don't really care, I guess, if it's
Yeah.
everywhere
Yeah.
because I use mint a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely like one of the more popular and common ones and one of the easier ones to grow, but also to a fault. Like
Yeah.
if you're not careful, if you don't know what you're
Too
getting
easy.
into, can
Yeah, I
happen.
would definitely recommend to plant mint, any kind of mint, in its own separate container
Yeah.
for sure, just to try to contain it because it will pop up everywhere. And that's anything else in the mint family too, like again, the lemon balm as well.
The nice thing about most tea plants is they will self-seed even if they're not perennial. But because next year I'm going to have a baby, I would very much like to not have to replant the tea garden if I can avoid it. So I did add a lot more yarrow this year, which I'm very excited about for perennial. And I think, what kind of echinacea are you growing? Do you
I'm
know?
growing the regular, like the
Yeah,
purple,
that's what
just
I
the
got.
native purple coneflower variety, but I also have a really beautiful burgundy one.
Ooh,
It's so beautiful. Like
that sounds
it's
nice.
so pretty. It's very fall kind of colored, like that burgundy Merlot kind of wine color.
Nice.
So I love the different colors of it.
There's so many good options.
Have you ever tried to harvest the root though?
No.
Like the actual root? I think I'm going to sacrifice a couple of mine
Yeah.
this year to maybe pull up the roots
Interesting.
and try to dehydrate them and actually like make a tincture, echinacea tincture. I don't know if I should because you're not supposed to technically have anything that's like immune stimulating if you have an autoimmune disorder. And so in the past, I've always been somebody that's taken echinacea root tincture and stuff, like when I'm sick or like preventatively. But there's
Yeah,
studies and stuff
I
that have come out that say you're not supposed to do that. And my
that's the
doctors also told me I'm not supposed to do that. So I'm just like, I don't know.
the cytokine storm or whatever it is. Like it's something about that, and there's a similar effect that can happen with elderberry. I think. I feel like it's tricky. Like I think it's definitely something they should discourage beginners from using. Like if you don't have a strong understanding of herbalism and dosing, like it's very hard to get that right. But I think there's nuance there. I think probably it can still be helpful to some people in certain situations. I want to try the dandelion root like coffee, where you like grind up dandelion root. I need to do that next
You have
spring.
never tried that before?
No, I eat the
It's
flowers all
so
the time.
yummy.
Yeah.
It is
Oh my
so good.
gosh.
It genuinely does taste like coffee.
Really? That's
Yes.
crazy. Okay, I'm
You
gonna
would
just have to
think
buy
I
some
was
to try
skeptical
now.
too. Like when I first saw, people, first saw the dandelion root come out in stores and stuff, I was really, really skeptical and I was like, there's no way this tastes like coffee. No, it really does. Like, obviously, it's not going to taste the exact
Yeah.
same as coffee,
Yeah.
but it is like reminiscent of coffee enough for me to be pleasantly surprised and satisfied with
Interesting.
it.
Okay. I played
Yeah.
around with the idea of putting some dandelions in the garden. I mean, they grow in the ground here all over the place. Like, our lawn is not grass, it's weeds. But I don't know. People brought them from England to cultivate, and now they're just
Right.
considered a weed. But I don't know, because it's hard to
And
pull
I
them out
don't
of the ground.
understand that, like why they're a weed, because there are a ton of studies that are coming out about dandelion root and the flowers and how
Girl, this is
beneficial they can be. Like
it's a
these are
conspiracy.
really great studies too. They're not like small, like they're larger studies. Yeah, it is a whole conspiracy.
I've
It's like
seen
a rabbit
people
hole.
saying heart disease is number one killer in the United States. And what do you know? Dandelion happens to be the main thing that herbally can help with heart disease and preventing it. It seems like some people are making money off of dandelions being the enemy. I don't know. Just saying. I'm not a
A
conspiracy
lot of
theorist, but a
it's
little
like
bit. Just a little bit. I'm not
yeah, maybe
not.
just a little bit.
Just about plants.
Same. Same. I think that there's like a balance with conspiracy.
Right.
I think it's good to stay skeptical of anything,
Yeah.
but there's also, you have to realize that there's sensationalism as well. Like the internet can be crazy, but it makes sense. And like there's a lot of weeds. It's not just dandelions. There's a lot of weeds that can be food and can be medicine, and weeds, quote unquote, are
Yes.
considered this awful thing that we have to get rid of. People spray pesticides to get rid of them when in reality our ancestors were using these weeds
Right.
for health. And they're not good. I don't think that anything is a cure all for a certain thing, but I just think as a society, us being taught that these things are bad and we have to spray chemicals to get rid of them is just insane to me.
Agreed.
I don't know, it's just a crazy, just that in general
Comes back to
is,
just there's nuance with everything. I mean, each
yeah,
side being on the end of extremism isn't helping anybody, and being able to
yeah.
think critically about these things. So we should do a whole episode on edible weeds, I think. But
We really should. Yeah,
dandelion
we
tea,
really should.
start there.
Yeah. I think, and like tea overall is, again, like it's not going to be a cure all kind of thing for any kind of health condition, but I think any way that you can just support
Right.
your body, like it's all just about support. It's like putting good things into your body that are going to support you in any way, whether it is physiological or even just psychological as well, is a benefit. So
Absolutely.
tea is the best.
The
You've got to
best.
grow a tea garden. You've got to get that tea into your garden, into your body.
We should have had mugs of tea for this episode. We should have had like
Right?
show
Why
and
didn't
tell.
we?
Like,
I know. Why are
this
we
is my
not sipping on
tea.
tea right now?
We can fix that. Thankfully, we have tea gardens and we can fix that.
Right. We can go out right now.
Yeah.
Although a lot of my tea is kind of frying up right now in this heat, but it's okay. It'll come back in the fall.
It's wild how well mine is doing out of all the gardens. It's the one that's the happiest and has taken the least work and maintenance. And it goes all like spring, summer, and fall. The same plants. I don't have to replant. I have no gaps. I don't even really fertilize those beds. They just take care of
Right.
themselves. So low maintenance.
It's such a good thing for a beginner too, because you can chaos garden a tea garden if you want. Like just mix some seeds together, throw them in a garden bed and just see what happens. It's low risk. It's not like you're, growing. I feel like growing vegetables is like high risk for people because they're
Yeah.
super disappointed if they grow a tomato and they don't get a tomato. But like herbs and flowers are just a little bit lower risk and they're easier to grow. So
Yeah, the pest
it's great for
pressure is
any
totally
beginner.
different too.
A tea garden will attract beneficial insects. It's not going to attract, pests as much
Right.
as it would help bring the beneficial insects that can eat pests on your other plants.
I always
So,
say the tea garden is like a beacon for the pollinators because ever since I installed it, it seems like the bug population elsewhere in the garden has also exploded in a good way.
so there we go. Like health support, psychological support, pollinator support, beneficial insect support, garden support. It's just it's everything.
The whole package, yeah.
The whole package. We are going to wrap it up here. Hopefully, you guys are inspired to grow a tea garden. And if you're still not inspired, like, go watch Dagny's tea garden videos, and then you will be. You can find Dagny at the Cottage Peach, and I am at Meg Grows Plants. And then you can find the Garden Girls podcast anywhere you get podcasts. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And we will see you guys in the next one.